Right, Nathan Rodriguez just joined as well.
Can you mute your? Hi, Renee. How are you?
Good.
There's Omar's on camera.
We have trying to think of who's. Okay, so next. Give me a moment. Okay, we're just getting feedback. So
Got everybody on camera?
okay, there's no feedback. So now we've got. Can they hear you? Yeah. Travis, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, let's get going before you guys leave. Okay.
Okay. Let's see what time we got. I got about 13:10, about 1:10, call to order. Welcome, everybody. I'm alternate chair today. Javier's up with us, but not present here. Is there any comments from the public? Okay, I have one guest here. I want him to introduce. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Santosh Palamate. I'm a system professor and extension specialist with Texas A&M Hydrolab Research Center in El Paso. I do modeling on hydraulical. Also, I work for agricultural issues around El Paso region.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to also mention that Dr. Palmate is the one we're working with Texas A&M to see if he may be able to become a voting member. So he is still awaiting final confirmation from his administration. They are closely working through that. So hopefully we'll have a good word on that here shortly. And our next step, as well as we're going to reach out to Isadora Garcia from the city of Alpine to also fill a voting member position. So we're also working through that as well. So thank you so much for your all's understanding and patience in this matter.
We may have just taken care of item number 5. All right. Item number 3, review and approve the minutes for the meeting held November 6, 2025. Any comments on the minutes? We've got an echo again.
I guess. Make a motion to approve.
Okay. Who is that?
Who is that? Renee?
We had a motion and a second. Who made the motion?
Motion. Renee?
Okay. Okay, and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 4, Nick.
I'll make it quick. We only have one. TWB tasked with SB3 is making recommending areas that need emergency sirens. The TWB has been tasked by the governor to manage SB3 and make recommendations for locations that need emergency sirens within those areas affected by the July 2025 emergency declaration. TWDB sent out surveys to region 8 through 15, asking for feedback from expert stakeholders within the affected area, in the areas affected, and that's all of my updates.
Nick, is there any update on when the funding that's been approved for water and potentially flood anyway, is going to be available? I heard that it's like 10 years out.
No, it's not 10 years out. That information was given during the financial workshop presentation that TWB did that Chairman Acosta and Aaron were there for. The timeline right now is that there is supplemental funds coming outside of Prop 4. But Prop 4 will take a minute to get implemented. The projected deadline for it to becoming a yearly thing is 2028, I believe, is when those funds will become available.
Okay, so 2028. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Quick, Vice Chairman Hall, you did request Nick to update the group on FME small community presentation that you wanted him to fill for today or the next meeting, but due to time constraint, and maybe Nick can maybe work on that for December 3rd.
Yes, and I believe that was the plan since we're having a shorter meeting this time.
Thank you, Nick.
And
Yep.
we'll just make sure that's on the agenda then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. And is there any further discussion for updates of voting member vacancies? Have you already addressed that?
We just discussed that.
So that's done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Item 6, AECom. 2A and 2B.
Yes, hold on a second. I'm pulling up the presentation.
Okay.
See here. My screen
It's
isn't
popping up.
cooperating at the most.
Travis.
Okay, we're up.
There you go. So all we're discussing today is updates on task 2A, 2B, existing and future condition flood risk analysis methodology. So this is primarily the same material that we presented last week. We want to, let you guys have this time. If you have any questions or comments on the memo that was distributed along with this, there have not been any changes to that since we previously submitted. So if you see here, this is our map of where we got data sources. A version of this is included in the memo. We're able to get this put together, and we discussed 2A with TWDB a couple weeks ago, and TWDB is going to review the 2B memo as soon as we approve it here and get back comments for us to include in the technical memorandum. That's all.
Okay, any comments from anyone? Okay, let's go on to item 7 then. 2A, discuss and take action as needed on task 2A and 2B, future condition flood risk analysis methodology. Is there a separate presentation in item 7
Yes, I believe it's.
for memo 2A and 2B?
I'm trying to pull up the agenda here. Bear with me.
Okay. And it says Rio Cog, so is that an AECom presentation or?
Well,
So
it-
there isn't an attached presentation from us. What we would request from you is a vote to approve both the memos from 2A and 2B.
Okay, so what we need
So what
is
we
look
need
at the memo.
is look at the memo.
Go.
So
Can we scan the memo up?
we scan the memo up where
Everybody can see it or?
everybody can see it. Yes.
Just go through it a little bit at a time. If somebody sees something
Somebody sees that
that they want to comment on,
they want to comment on,
please speak. Okay, go ahead and scan up.
Oh, hold on a second.
Take our time so we can have a chance to read. How long is this? How many pages is it?
This one is 10 pages.
10? Okay.
If anybody wants a synopsis of either of the memos, I can give those.
That'd be great.
Go ahead.
We want to do the existing one first.
Yep, we'll go ahead and
yeah.
start with existing.
Yeah, I would just, this table kind of summarizes the data sources. It's a companion to the map that we showed, which is further down in this same memo as well. And it kind of orders the priority for how we selected the data. So for outside of El Paso County, for everywhere else outside El Paso County, we relied on base level engineering, which is has been released for a good portion of Region 14, not all of Region 14. We received those models in batches this summer. We processed some of the data was processed for us, so we use that where available. Next in line, we used local flood modeling for City of Presidio. And then where we had national flood hazard effective data, we used that as the third data source. Then behind that, we used cursory floodplain or approximate fathom data, which is a statewide data set. It's a little coarser than BLE data, but it does cover the entire state. It's a seamless data set. And then as a reference, we use FAFDS, which are the oldest floodplains that are just digitized paper maps, but we just use those as reference. And then in El Paso County, we had pretty much the same data sets, but we also have the newer NFHL preliminary data available from FEMA. So that summarizes the data sources that we used for the effective, and you can see a visual of that if you want to scroll back to the map. And that's just sort of an overlay. Well, those are the modeling areas for El Paso. This is the availability of the BLE data. That's the one I was talking about that was available for most of the region at the time. I think more may be available now, but it was well past our cutoff date for being able to process the data. Keep going down. And then yeah, there's the same map we showed previously. So it just kind of summarizes all the data sources that we have in all the different areas. And then I think after that, there's a summary table that might give a little more detail. Yeah, it's kind of another way to summarize the data for what sources were available by county. So if you have any questions as to what was used for your particular county, this is a summary of that data. So this is the existing conditions memorandum that was distributed.
Okay. Is that the end of memo 1
That is the
Yes.
end of memo 1.
or memo for 2A? Any discussion or questions about the memo task 2A? Okay, let's go on to the one for 2B.
Okay, 2B, a little bit of a different approach. There is not a similar BLE data set, which is called base level engineering. There is not a similar data set available statewide. However, there is a statewide available Fathom data set for the future condition. That is an upgrade from the last round of regional flood planning. So for the majority of the area outside of El Paso County, we decided to use the available Fathom data. For El Paso County, we took a bit of a different approach because of the density of structures and because of the availability of the FEMA data. So before we made that decision, we did a comparison on structure count between the two existing data sets, Fathom and FEMA. The reason we had to do the comparison on existing data is because there is no like for like comparison between two future data sets. The FEMA data does not have a future for comparison. That's why we didn't do it on future. So we wanted to make sure that if the two existing data sets intersected similar numbers of structures, then we could be reasonably certain that the Fathom data set for the future, which is already published, would also represent the future condition for El Paso. However, we did find some differences in some of the more populated areas of El Paso. The biggest differences, I believe, are in work areas 1, 2, and 3. Actually, I take that back. 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7. With 2 and 3 being the largest differences, 8,900 structures and 4,200 structures. Because of these differences, and because we do have all the FEMA models, we decided to rerun the FEMA models with a representation of future land use based on future population projections and future rainfall. So based on the comparison, we decided not to use the Fathom. So if you go down, it then describes, we have 2 sections. The first one describes the future land use development. There is an organization that does a 2050 projection of, you'd have to go up a little bit. Can you go up to the previous page? Okay, let's see. Trying to get the name of it. The El Paso Metropolitan Planning Organization Regional Mobility Strategy 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan. We used population and employment estimates, and through analysis of land use, we projected what we assumed would be 2050 population, because that's as far as the data were available. And then we scaled that up to 2060 estimates. And then go down. So we had 2060 estimates of, like, I think it's the next table. So yeah, we took the population estimates, merged it with land use, and basically we decided to represent the future land use by scaling up of the curve number from the existing model. So you can see we have a bunch of different columns in this table. The end result we were trying to get to is column 5. So we started with columns 1 and 2, which are existing conditions and the 2019 FEMA model curve numbers. Then through analysis, we arrived at column 3, which was the future condition 2050 based on the metropolitan transportation data that I just spoke about. Then we took the maximum of those 3 data sets and then scaled it up to 2060. So we had our future land use. If you go down a little bit, then we had to move on to rainfall. We looked at a few data sources to project for future projections of total rainfall for the 24-hour storm event. We looked at the Fathom, since the Fathom was performed for the state and they have already done a future projection of rainfall, we extracted that data that were available from TWDB, and we compared that to the FEMA data that we already had in our models, and we found a little bit of an inconsistent percent change. So again, work area 3 is one of the modeling regions. It's dense. It's also on one, I can't remember which side of the Franklin Mountains, but it's, adjacent to the mountains. And I know that the rainfall patterns, you know, they change over the mountains, and the distribution in the central part of the city is governed by the drainage design manual as opposed to Atlas 14. So because of these inconsistent differences, we looked at some other data sources, came up with, if you go down to the next page, we found a few data sources that references percent increases. So we found a draft presentation from a study that was performed, that is in progress by multiple universities and the TWDB, that recommends a 20% increase to year 2060. That's kind of what this graph is showing. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you go up a smidge, I think it might have. Yeah, I'm sorry. We said the daily rainfall increase would be 22%. So I believe for consistency with cycle one, where they applied a 20% increase, we did the same. So we used a 20% increase, our updated curve numbers, and we are rerunning all of the El Paso models. So that is our strategy. We're doing site-specific data for El Paso County and using Fathom everywhere else in Region 14.
Monica, can you go back to the curve numbers? To the curve numbers? So these curve numbers are for areas that are undeveloped?
No, they're for the entire county. They cover the entire county. So if you go back to, you see those, there's an echo on my voice. I don't know if you can all hear that, but someone.
Yeah, it comes on and off for some reason. So
Okay.
bear with
Okay,
us.
it's not on now. That's fine. I'll keep going. If you look at the left column where it calls out the work areas, if you flip back to the other existing condition memo, there's no map in this one. It's in the existing memo. Yes, there is a map of the work areas, and this is how the FEMA modeling was performed.
Area 3.
There it is. So you can see the work areas, how they're distributed. So it includes
It's the east side of the Frank.
Yeah, it's the east side of the Franklins. It includes the entirety of El Paso County. So developed, undeveloped. So 2 and 3 are highly developed, as is 7.
That's on 2A.
Okay, they just seemed kind of low, but I guess they started with 61, right? And then you guys bumped it up to 60 to 68, at least on watershed area 1.
Watershed area 1.
Okay, 6. So that's on the west side.
Yeah, that is, I don't know if the soil types over there are more A and B. I'd have to go back and check. I believe we use the same land use assignments that they used in the FEMA hydrology, just for consistency. So we weren't using drastically different approaches. Yes, that is a lower curve number. I could go back and check the soil type in that work area to make sure that's, makes sense.
Yeah, please go ahead and do that because they seem low. I know we do have some very areas that drain really rapidly, more on the east side. But on the west side, northeast, central, that's we have a lot of clay there, and we have mountains. So there's gonna be a lot of on some of them there's gonna be a lot of runoff. There's not gonna be good absorption. So just look at all the curve numbers. They seem low to me.
Will do.
Thank you.
Any other comments on
Comment on,
task 2B memo?
2B memo? I do. Yeah, I agree with her. I just want to point out that we just need to make sure that we're not underestimating, because time and time again, it doesn't fail that when TxDOT or the MPO starts building, just take, for instance, take highways. They build, and our data is so far behind that we take that current behind data, but we don't look at projections in the future. And yet when we open a new freeway, it's still stuck because it doesn't alleviate the congestion. I understand what she's trying to say is that the numbers are kind of low for the projections, because even if there's open areas to build, we need to consider that sometimes municipalities take it upon themselves to either renew their ordinances and allow more building, more commercials, or more housing and stuff. So I think that we should just be wary of that, because we don't want to under project, and then we're going to have a problematic problem later on, just to avoid it. That's my 2 cents.
I have a further comment. Just to confirm, we did use 62 last time in work area 1. Not that that's correct. I'm just letting everyone know that we did arrive at the same number. But I'm wondering if part of the issue, could you go back to the map in the other memo, Travis? So work area 1 has a lot of New Mexico in it. I don't know if that could be part of the reason. So you there's only a really small sliver of El Paso and like that populated area along the river. So I'd have to go back and see, but if Doña Ana County is, has a different composition, that may be what's driving the curve number down.
Yeah, just go ahead and verify, because just as Renee mentioned, that's a concern, underestimating, because right now we're projecting to 2050. So just look at that and make sure that we have the right curve numbers. They do seem very low. Thank you.
Any further comments? Should we do an approval contingent upon Gisela and Monica reaching an agreement on WA1? Does that sound reasonable?
It wouldn't just be WA1. They will need to look at all the watersheds just to make sure. I mean, I focus on that one, but I mean, they would have to look at the other ones.
It could be, I could suggest maybe it's an agreement on the approach with knowing that we may need to adjust a curve number and rerun an area. So I think what we're approving here is the approach for how we're choosing to model and represent the future condition, with contingent upon, agreement on the curve numbers. Agreed.
Gisela, can you give us a recommended approval? I mean, a motion then that absorbs what we're talking about here?
Off the top of my head, I guess it'll be moved to approve contingent on verification of curve numbers for modeling approach of what is it, all the watersheds on the table.
I have one more thought on that.
Go ahead.
I guess it would be moot if we redid column 1 and it was higher. I think one of our basis, or like our barometer for how accurate column 1 was to use the FEMA hydrology, because that's what's going to be regulatory soon for the region. But again, that would be a moot point, because if we redid the analysis for column 1 and that was higher, that would then carry over to column 4 and then get scaled up to column 5. So just a thought.
Is the motion that Gisela gave still valid then?
Yes.
Okay, can I get a second, please?
Second.
Okay,
Is that
was that Renee for the second?
Renee for the second? Yes.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Say aye.
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 Say aye. Okay. I like that. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Item number 8 is the next meeting. It looks like we already have a meeting scheduled for December 3rd at 1 o'clock.
correct?
At 1 o'clock. And if there's no other issues, anybody from the public want to make any comments at all? Anybody that might be listening in? Okay, I think we're finished then. We have a motion to adjourn. I'm sorry, Travis, you have anything else to say?
I want to confirm with Nick that satisfies the requirements that TWD was looking for.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what she said.
I believe I heard him, Chair. He was asking if it satisfies the requirements. As long as the motion was to approve Task 2A and Task 2B memo, yes, that satisfies the requirements.
Well, let's do it specifically then. I need a motion to approve Task A and Task 2B.
I will also say that the addition. Oh, sorry. The stipulation is a viable additive to that. Since y'all do want to have some of these things added to the memo.
Okay. So, Nick, do you understand that we've already approved 2A and 2B with what we've
Yes,
done?
sir. Yes, sir. I was just saying if y'all have approved it, then yes, and yes, y'all did. So yes, you're good. Sorry for confusion.
Okay, so we don't need another motion. What I need then is a motion to adjourn.
Prior to that, if I can just say thank you very much for your all's assistance and hopping on the call, especially some of you that are traveling, and also ones that I had to email at the last minute and did hop on. So greatly appreciate all your all's assistance in making this happen today. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did we get it? Did we do a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All approved.
Aye.
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 Anybody want to continue? Okay. Approved. Goodbye.
Happy
Have a
Thanksgiving.
good Thanksgiving, guys.
Thank you. So stop doing that. Crazy, huh? This one?
Fun games, huh?
So I've done.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe next time I will read all those documents before I come here. But it's already passed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because my understanding is your future work, it also depends on these memos. Also, you will grab.
Had to have these two approved before the technical memo could be finalized.
Yeah,
And he had to have the number of days between this approval and it. So they could announce the technical memos, I mean, the task 2A and 2B approved before they could, the 7 days prior to the December 3rd meeting. So that's why we had to do it today.
okay, that's